Hello everybody and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John and I have been wanting to do a book haul video for such a long time. So I was looking through my books that I've accumulated in the past couple of weeks, and I thought, you know what, I got enough here for a small book haul. So you know what, without any further ado, let's just go ahead and get underway with this, okay? So the first one I've got is one that I actually got yesterday, and this is A God in the Shed. And if you look at the front of it, it says, "Move over, True Detective," and that's what drew me to it. I love True Detective. The first season was just fantastic. Now, I haven't watched second or third season. I'm afraid I'll be disappointed if I do, because that first season was just phenomenal, okay? Alright, so yeah, move over, True Detective. And this is by J.F. Dubois, alright? So let's read the synopsis on this, which got turned to the... And I love this kind of thing, too. What do you call this when it's kind of rough around the edges? Looks like it's been cut rough or whatever. I can never remember what that's called. And it's got a kind of a wraparound cover because it's a paperback, but it's got the thing like a hardcover or whatever. The village of St. Ferdinand has all the trappings of a quiet life. Farmhouses stretching from one main street, a small police precinct, a few diners and cafes, and a grocery store. Though if an out-of-towner stopped in, they would notice one unusual thing: a cemetery far too large and much too full for such a small town, lined with the victims of the St. Ferdinand killer, who has eluded police for nearly 2 decades. It's not until after Inspector Stephen Crowley finally catches the killer, that the town discovers even darker forces are at play. When a dark spirit reveals itself to young Venus Mackenzie, a resident of St. Ferdinand, she learns that this creature's power has a long history with her town, and that the serial murders merely scratch the surface of a past burdened by evil secrets. And that is A God in the Shed. I'm going to try to keep from raising my head up like that because you guys don't want to look down my nose and count all the nose hairs. Alright, there you go. God in the Shed. And I'm doing these in alphabetical order by the author's name, so that was J.F. Dubois. Alright. Next up, from Christina Henry. This one caught my eye because I've always been a fan of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And this is Horsemen, A Tale of Sleepy Hollow. Revisit the village of Sleepy Hollow and discover that the oldest legends can be the hungriest in this atmospheric, terrifying new novel from the author of Alice and the Girl in Red. Everyone in Sleepy Hollow knows about the Horsemen, but no one really believes in him. Not even Ben Van Brunt's grandfather, Brom Bones, who was there when it was said the Horsemen chased the upstart Ichabod Crane out of town. Brom says that's just legend. The village gossips talking. More than 30 years after those storied events, the village is a quiet place. 14-year-old Ben loves to play Sleepy Hollow boys, reenacting the events Brom once lived through. But then Ben and a friend stumble across the headless body of a child in the woods near the village, and the discovery makes Ben question everything the adults in Sleepy Hollow have ever said. Could the Horsemen be real after all, or does something even more sinister stalk the woods? And that is Horsemen, and that is by Christina Henry. That's a pretty cool cover there. Alrighty. And you know, sometimes everybody always says don't judge a book by its cover, and I try not to do that. But then again, sometimes I see a cover that is just so cool looking, I gotta have the book. Alright, and today with that, I'm talking about Mouthful of Ashes, and this is by Brianna Morgan. Alright. And the cover is by Elder Lemon Design, and you can look them up on Instagram. They got their own Instagram page, okay? Mourning the sudden loss of her sister, Callie Danoff wants nothing more than to embrace a fresh start in a new town, leaving the haunting memories of her sister's death behind. But when her brother Ramsey drags her to a spooky boardwalk, the two become entangled with the local vampire gang and its enigmatic leader, Elijah. Callie refuses to accept their existence until she and her brother unknowingly ingest vampire blood. Now they only have 3 days before they turn into vampires themselves. With her carefree summer thwarted, Callie must trust a group she barely knows in order to save her family. That is Mouthful of Ashes. All right, that cover's just awesome. Okay. All right, now this one is one that I got from Josh at Working Man Reads. He wrote me and asked me if I would be interested because I mentioned that I wanted to read it. And he said, hey, you know what? I'm going to send you a copy. So he did. And this is by Haley Piper. Another awesome cover. This is Queen of Teeth. All right. Within 48 hours, Yaya Betancourt will go from discovering teeth between her thighs to being hunted by one of the most powerful corporations in America. She assumes the vagina dentata is a side effect of a rare genetic condition caused by alpha-beta pharmaceutical. Decades ago, when she and several thousand others were still in the womb. But when ABP, corporate goons, upend her life, she realizes her secondary teeth might be evidence of a new experiment for which she's the most advanced test tube. A situation worsened when Yaya's condition sprouts horns, tentacles, and a mind of its own. I am intrigued. All right. On the run and transforming, Yaya may be either ABP's greatest success or the deadliest failure science has ever created. So it's a little bit of sci-fi horror here, but man, it sounds awesome. All right. You know, at least, you know, well, you know what? Maybe it's not sci-fi horror. It sounds more like a little bit of a cross between the vagina dentata, legend or lore or whatever, and a little bit sounds like almost a little bit of maybe a cosmic or demonic horror or something like that. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to this, and thank you very much, Josh. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right, next up, I just reviewed this guy's book, Kill Creek. I absolutely loved it. I think it's one of the best haunted house books that I've ever read, and I thought to myself, when am I going to get around to reading his next book, Violet? Hopefully very soon. In fact, this is probably going to go on my TBR for November. This is by Scott Thomas. All right. And another great cover. I love that red. And let's see here. It's another one of those with the funky thing. If anybody knows the name of this, please tell me. I never can remember, okay? For many children, the summer of 1988 was filled with sunshine and laughter. But for 10-year-old Chris Barlow, it was her chance to say goodbye to her dying mother. 3 decades later, loss returns. Her husband killed in a car accident. And so Chris goes home to the place where she first knew pain, to that summer house overlooking the crystal waters of Lost Lake. It's there that Chris and her, excuse me, and her 8-year-old daughter will make their stand against grief. But a shadow has fallen over the quiet lake town of Pacington, Kansas. Beneath its surface, an evil has grown, and inside that home where Chris Barlow last saw her mother, an old friend awaits her return. I like how he gives these really, really cool names to like bodies of water, like Kill Creek, Lost Lake. I like that. Anyway, this really sounds awesome. So yeah, this is probably going to go on my TBR this month also for November. All right. And then I got 2 anthologies. I bought the first one at Barnes & Noble, then the other one I got from Amazon. Excuse me. This one I got from Amazon because once I saw the cover for it, I had to have it. This is the Classic Horror Collection. This is Terrifying Tales from Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu, H.P. Lovecraft, M.R. James, Edgar Allan Poe, William Hope Hodgson, and Bram Stoker. And that's just to name a few. And let's name a few stories in here. And this has several of my favorite older classic stories. The Black Cat, Edgar Allan Poe, The Call of Cthulhu, H.P. Lovecraft, Carmilla, which I've got that in hardcover, so Carmilla's in here. And he also, Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu has another one on here called Dick and the Devil. Yeah, because I'm not going to say it the way it could possibly sound. Anyway, Mary Shelley has one called The Mortal Immortal. That might be in the other one too. I don't remember. W. Jacobs, The Monkey's Paw. Love that story. So damn good. Ambrose Bierce, An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, another awesome story. So yeah, this has got a lot of really awesome stories. I haven't even scratched the surface with those, all right? And that is the Classic Horror Collection. All right, and then finally, for my last seventh of 7 books, I've got the Classic Gothic Horror Collection. And what's cool about these is they have covers, or, you know, they have slip covers, but if you remove the slip cover, like I just did, it's the same out on the inside like it is anyway. So I think that's really cool, you know, in case something happens to the slip cover. This one has stories from Mary Shelley, Edgar Allan Poe. Oh, this is the Classic Gothic Horror Collection. All right. It has stories from Mary Shelley, Edgar Allan Poe, Robert Louis Stevenson, E.F. Benson, Sheridan Le Fanu, and Charlotte Perkins Gilman. So let's see what we got here. And there's not as many in this one. Edgar Allan Poe, The Fall of the House of Usher. The Invisible Girl by Mary Shelley. Let's see what else we got. Also, The Dream by Mary Shelley. Berenice by Edgar Allan Poe. Olala by Robert Louis Stevenson. The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. I've never read that story. I've always wanted to read it. The Romance of Certain Old Clothes by Henry James, writer of Turn of the Screw. Number 252, Rue M. Le Prince by Ralph Adams Cram. But yeah, it's got about 25 stories or 20 stories in it maybe. So yeah, this is the Classic Gothic Horror Collection. Again, love this cover. If you want, you can put the slipcover on it. There it is. And if not, you can just do it like it is, like this. So yes, there you have it. That is the my 7-book horror haul. Hope you guys have enjoyed watching this, because I really did enjoy showing it off to you. This is going to post, it's Wednesday night. I'll post this tomorrow, Thursday afternoon. So until then, you guys, take care and stay scared. Halloween is getting closer. Closer. Okay, I'm going to stop that. Anyway, bye-bye, guys.